again. This is Bobby Mills, once again for the Independent.com and our volleyball version of Bobby Mills Independent Sports Talk. We've got Zach Mays behind the camera. We had to get him in first one of these times. Jimmy Langan over here, E-Dub Eric Williams. We're brought to you once again by Cornhusker Toyota Honda. Volleyball, first thing I'm going to mention is that showcase at Creighton. We had some pretty nice victories for smaller schools, although Northwest isn't a small school, but they knocked off Millard West. That's a pretty big victory for them. How about that?
I think that was more of a respect game, I think, for Northwest. I mean, they've been in the state playoffs, they've been in the state finals numerous years, but I don't know if Coach Rose and that team has really gotten the respect that they probably deserve. But going into the metro area and beating a Millard West team like they did, I think that turned some heads, I think, on that east side of the state towards Diane Rose and the Northwest team. It was a big win for them.
They went early in the season. They went to Beatrice, I think, and they played like 4 games in like one day. It was amazing. Like you come out of there after the first week and your record's 8-0.
Right.
But that caught my eye right away. And then they had a couple games where maybe you thought they'd turn it on really good. And they've won a lot of games and a lot of turns, but they might lose one every once in a while. And in volleyball, to catch somebody's attention, you almost have to be like 17-1.
I know.
And why? Because Grand Island Northwest wins all the time.
Right.
So when they're 17-3, it's not that big of a
wrong?
deal. Yeah,
What's
you
wrong
know what?
with them?
Yeah. So and not that it's wrong, but they're really good. I'm not so sure Grand Island Northwest isn't one of the top 5 teams in the entire state.
Well, are they up to 6, Jimmy?
They're up to 6 right
Oh,
now.
is that right?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay.
very well
Right
deserved.
behind Gretna at 5, and they've got another game against those guys.
And is Omaha Scott B? You guys help me out here real quick. Are they Class A or Class B? Omaha Scott.
Class B.
They're Class B.
Seems like they're A.
I'm help me out because I'll look at their schedule and who they play.
Yeah.
But so right now, Class B volleyball is absolutely really tremendous in the area, and more so than you would actually think. But Grand Island Northwest, year in and year out, I mean, there's some teams that just win, and it seems like the same teams are winning. Coaching is so critical in volleyball. It seems these programs are really continuing to win, and you look at it, and hats off to them. I mean, they just continue. It seems like year in and year out, it's the same people that are continue to win. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it's a lot of the coaching. I mean, they know what it takes to get there. They know how to pace the girls and keep them focused throughout the whole thing. And it's a grueling tournament, and for sure, Class B is going to be a tremendous state tournament to watch with all these teams. Be interesting to see if anybody can really compete with Scott. I mean, Scott is up there, even in the nation. They're 15th nationally. So to see if someone can compete with Scott and bring them down, it just takes one set to maybe get them in a panic mode to where they're not used to being in that situation and may trip up. You never know. But
Bobby, I think it's good though. One thing I like about volleyball that is that the teams will travel. And they just continually don't play the people in their same area. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to take anything away from Malcolm, but Malcolm is undefeated. But they play kind of the same people over and over again. They don't really take that chance. Hey, we're going to go take on Grand Island Northwest. We'll go take on Ogallala. We'll go down to Kearney Catholic. I mean, now they are playing Newman. And Newman is 17-1, and I think Newman has played some of those people. They've gone after it. But Grand Island Central Catholic will go after and play a really tough schedule. St. Paul has done that to prove their program. And the success that they've had. And I would be surprised if not that it couldn't happen, but I'd be surprised if Kearney Catholic and St. Paul both aren't in the state tournament. I would be really dumbfounded that they both can't get in.
Yeah.
They're both going to be there. And just like you said, some of those teams in Class B are going to get in there with the wild cards and also winning their districts. What's going to be interesting to see is nobody may get upset. It's possible that everybody will win their districts, and then the 6, 7, and 8 teams will get jump in there and will grab one of those wild cards. Unlike sometimes in basketball, where your 1 and 2 get beat, so guess who gets your wild cards? 1 and 2. Yeah, right. And if you're 4th and you get upset, you're staying at home.
Yeah. And I think in the lower classes, I think you're right. It could be 1 through 8, go through there. But Class A, it seems like there is 1 or 2 that'll trip up, and then let's say like a Marion would get tripped up, and then boom, they're taking that wild card. It seems like it happens more in Class A than it does in B, C1, and C2. So it'd be interesting to see how those teams do.
Right, and you look at the area, you've got Grand Island Senior High, the success they've had in volleyball. You've got Grand Island Northwest, you've got Grand Island Central Catholic. You look at Kearney Catholic. You know, I mean, there's just the St. Paul. You know, Donovan Trumbull's having a good year.
Yeah.
I mean, you just so many teams that are so close to the Grand Island area that are really having good volleyball seasons.
Yeah, Trumbull's right now is 6th in C2.
Yeah, is there anybody else I missed in the area? Do you
No,
you got,
I think you pretty much hit them all.
Ord's having a good,
right there.
Ord's having a good year. You know, we
yeah.
talked about Broken Bow last week.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, when you get out a little further west, Ogallala, Shadron, and Chase County are having decent years.
Yeah.
You know, Minden, you know, they're sitting just a couple games over 500, and I might be off on that. They might be 15-10 or something like that. But you know, they're a team
Still
that,
dangerous.
yeah, very dangerous team in the Southwest Conference, and that's a program that year in and year out has been very competitive.
Well, and you look at like GI, you talk about records close to 500. They're 13-9 right now, but you look at who they've lost to.
That's right.
And you know, going into tonight, and I think they're going against Southwest tonight too. So they could be 13-10 after tonight, and they're ranked 9th. They're going to need some help, obviously. In
Are
their
they
Class
9th in A?
Yeah.
Are they 9th in A or 9th overall?
They're 9th in A. They're
Okay,
not in
right,
the
yeah,
overall, but
right,
they're going to
right.
need some help in that district to make it. But they could easily be a challengeable team in the state because of the competition that they go against.
You know what I'd like to do? And
Tell us, Jim.
I would like to take the gate and have a triangular between Central Catholic, Northwest, and Senior High, and I'll just take the gate. I'll get it organized.
I
We
think
can
that's a
run it,
great
yeah, and
idea.
then we'll just have it, and I'll try to take a little of the gate. And I'm pretty sure that no one will yell at the referees or the line judges. It'll be just everybody will sit
Right,
there
yeah.
polite.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Root everybody
Yeah,
on.
root everybody on. Cheer for all the kids. Yeah.
Quintino Martinez
Yeah, you're,
involved in that?
I don't know, but yeah, there'll be some money made in that, right?
But I tell you what, you think about it, we jokingly say it, but you think about getting an all-area tournament set up with just the teams in the area, like you mentioned. How good of a tournament that would be.
Right.
Speaking of tournaments, right now going on is a Lou Platte tournament over at Donovan Trumbull. I don't know what going, is there any updates anybody has? Because that's unbelievable. Look at the
believe-
teams we just mentioned,
I
Ord, St. Paul.
I believe Kearney Catholic won 3-0 over Ord, and I think St. Paul's ahead of Donovan Trumbull 2-0.
So-
But Donovan Trumbull was ahead 4 points in the third set, so it looked like it looks like it could go at least 4 sets. No, it's not. It's over now. It's 19-11 now, so
Okay.
now it looks like St. Paul's taking control of that. They're up 19-11, so
Wow.
yeah.
And you know what that sets up, don't you?
Yeah, St. Paul versus Kearney Catholic.
And I hope St. Paul makes it to state. My goodness, they've had, wrong place, wrong time every year. They deserve a trip down there. I hope they make it, just as long as they don't knock off Jim's favorite team or Eric's. So, hey, Central Catholic in that Centennial Conference tournament down in Aquinas, they pulled off the 3rd place. That's not bad. They lose to Newman, I think, in the semifinals. I don't know who.
They're 17-1.
Yeah.
Newman is, yeah.
Wahoo Newman. Yeah, it is. It's probably disappointing. I mean, they get 3rd, but when you look at it overall, it's a tough conference to play in, and Wahoo Newman is 2nd in the rankings. So you know, to come out of there with a 3rd place victory, you know, it's not going to look too bad going into it. And plus, again, the competition you're seeing going into the district play and the sub-district play, that's just going to benefit you going into those.
Well, you know, you got Lincoln Christian, I think, that...
They're still up there.
Well, and Lincoln Christian also won that. The St. Cecilia, GICC, and Lincoln Christian always had that triangle that very first Thursday of the year. And, you know, one thing I know about St. Cecilia this year, you know, they're starting 3 freshmen. You know, they're starting 3 freshmen.
right.
Yeah, so look at that, and hey, that team's going to get better here the next couple of weeks. You mean, you're starting some freshmen. You know, they're going to get a little more confident and have some things, and you got a whole new squad that you know they're playing together for the first time, probably, right? You know, 'cause
Yep.
they're 8th graders. They were playing in a whole different league. Can you imagine that? A year ago, you're playing in the 7th and 8th grade tournament, and here you are. Now you're going to be playing against Wahoo Newman. GICC, you know, a whole different. Those spikes come a little faster.
Well, I'll look past the camera at Tino. How many girls are freshmen and sophomores on that Central Catholic team? I mean, do they start? They start one senior maybe? I mean, there's some young girls on that team, so.
Yes.
Like you said,
Yeah,
boy, there's some
yeah.
of them hit the road running.
Yeah, they're not the only, again, don't get me wrong.
No.
They're not the only one with young
Boy.
girls that are playing, yeah.
And initially, I mean, you're gonna take those bumps early on,
Yeah.
but by the end of it, you know, they're pretty seasoned to where, you know, some of those kills that they had early on in the year aren't happening anymore. They're going down and digging those out and,
Correct.
and playing a lot better volleyball later on in the year.
Yeah.
Well, even though I'm a football guy, boy, you ought to get out and see a volleyball match somewhere, because I think sub-districts or whatever, or are they just districts now? I don't really.
The sub-districts down
Sub-districts, yeah,
low.
they're
The
sub-districts.
31st, maybe on Halloween, Tino said, so get out and see, you know, it's just a great thing to see, because we've got.
This year, they're a little faster than year, just because the dates got moved up. I think they're about October 25, 26,
Oh, okay.
27, right in that time.
Yeah.
Is when the C1 and D1, D2, C1, and C2 start theirs, and Class B and A start a little later.
And you're not gonna freeze either. Last time I heard they were playing indoors. How about that?
Good point.
Thanks everybody for listening to our volleyball version, once again brought to you by Cornhusker Toyota Honda. So this is Bobby Mills, Jim Langen, Eric Williams, theindependent.com. See you next time when we talk about high school football.